There's really only one thing you need to know about the Shelby GT500 Super Snake. And that is 850 horsepower. Yes, 850 horsepower in a Mustang. One would think that would be impossible for a street car, but it's not, as we learned this week on Ignition. Welcome to K&N Engineering in Riverside, California, and we're here this morning with the Super Snake because when they're advertising 850 horsepower, we want to verify if that's actually the case. So K&N's graciously allowed us to use their dyno, and we're all taking bets on how much power it's going to make at the wheels, but either way, it should be an interesting morning. Ingesting around 20 pounds of boost from the Kenny Bell blower, this 5.8 liter V8 makes more of a torque plateau than a peak. It generated 747 horsepower and 611 pound-feet of torque to the wheels, which is right as advertised once you estimate drivetrain losses. Just for the record, that's 188 more horsepower than the last GT500 we dynoed here. Who is the person that buys an 850 horsepower Super Snake? Well, it's the kind of guy, or gal, who gets out of the GT500 and says, you know what, this could use another 190 horsepower. This could use like an additional BRZ worth of horsepower. So for the $40,000 you pay Shelby to have this done to your GT500, you get a lot of stuff. Horsepower notwithstanding, you get a 3.73 rear axle like this car has. They also have an optional, or a standard 331, I think, but we have the 373. You get a big cooling upgrade, heat exchanger, aluminum cooling tanks, fans, a big radiator, all the stuff you need to cool 850 horsepower. You have big 20-inch wheels, Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires, cross-drilled, vented brakes, and no less than 20 Super Snake badges around the car. We counted. But the power, of course, dominates the conversation about this car. It is the main thing, the main part of focus, the main selling point of this car. And we have so much power that it's almost hard to comprehend. It's like when you're looking at a relative size of the universe, and once you get to, you know, the planet Uranus, you can't comprehend the size of it because it's just so far out of the realm. So the way I've been able to contextualize the amount of power is this. We have a Mustang GT per rear tire. Actually, we have more than a Mustang GT per rear tire. It's like a Mustang GT with an intake and exhaust per rear tire. That's the level of horsepower that we're working with. So driving this car quickly is, you might say, exhilarating. I refer to the literal definition of awesome, as in it inspires awe and is somewhat terrifying. And when you're driving on the road, I've actually come up with a checklist to decide on when you can go full throttle. The first part, is the road straight? You know, check. Are you in a gear that is 3 or higher? Check. Has the road been dry for the past 48 hours? Check. Okay, now you can go full throttle. Of course, I mentioned that on the curviest part of the road, so we can't do that. The Shelby Super Snake is less of a car and more of a pallet of C4 explosive with a steering wheel. And when you ignite it, you better hold on for dear life because it's going to go and you're just going to have to hold on to it. this is fast. It produces an acceleration G that like makes your brain go, dude, think about this. It is a level of forward thrust that, I don't know, could probably take you to space or makes you think you're going to space. Of course, the question is, when you're talking about an 850 horsepower Super Snake, is how fast is it? Well, in our testing, which we did before we filmed this, as we always do, we got a quarter-mile run in 12 seconds flat with a trap speed of 129.2 miles an hour. Now, this car can go faster. In fact, we've seen it in the 10-second range in the hands of our sister publication when they were using VHT. Why aren't we faster? Well, unfortunately, we can't test it anymore. After run 5 at about 140 miles an hour, when I went to the brake pedal to end the run, the pads just sort of disintegrated and the pedal went right to the floor. Now, fortunately, it stopped. That's why the car is still here. It's still shiny and not on fire, and that's why I'm not covered in blood or anything. But we can't test it anymore. We're out of brakes. But there is something we can do. And that is kind of the point. I mean, this is a rolling incendiary device. This car should come with a cape. Just a big American flag that you can just, cruise along and it's draped behind you. We're gonna get a lot of flack because I'm not driving this fast, but I welcome anybody who says I'm a wuss to come out and drive this thing and they'll feel the same thing. This car's scary.